Well, welcome all. It's week one of our Jogle, John O'Groats to Land's End adventure. 12 weeks in total, 1,200 miles. It's been an amazing first week, very busy, lots of miles done. I think what we've done this week is not far short of things like the Coast to Coast Challenge. So it's not a small amount of miles, but alongside that, we've had actually a lot to learn about the logistics of how to get from A to B, day to day. We learned a lot from local people on route planning and all that sort of detail. And we've had to manage our own tiredness, I guess, on a day-to-day basis. We've, as I say, done 130 miles so far in quite short order, but so far so good. Weather's been very kind to us, which is great. Touch wood on that for weeks to come. Most people who do this adventure do it from south to north. We're doing it north to south. We're probably doing it a bit earlier in the annual cycle as well, which means we were always dependent on good luck with weather, particularly early on in the journey in Scotland. And so far we have been lucky, which is absolutely great. It's been amazing the support we've had from everyone, really, to be honest, from friends and family, but also from the charity. And can't speak highly enough of the guys at London Air Ambulance. Not only did we have their CEO Jonathan up last week to set us on our way, that you saw hopefully in the last video, but we've had so many messages from people on an as-you-go basis giving us that kind of moral support as we cover one step after another. So our thanks to them for all of that.
Well, as John said, this has taken quite a lot of planning. Did a lot of macro planning up front, but when it comes to what happens on the ground, there's also a lot of detail we've had to get into. From a navigational point of view, we've been keeping a close eye on the stats, as you would expect from the two of us, given our backgrounds. What I can report, based on the 130 miles or so done so far, is that we are managing to travel at a speed on average of about 3 miles an hour. That can drop quite dramatically when you encounter sort of conditions such as walking on a beach, but it can also has risen to sort of 3.4 miles on our best day. Longest day so far has been 21 miles on the fantastic walk from Golspie down to Tain via Dornoch. Absolutely beautiful and a glorious day. And we've typically been walking for somewhere between 5 and 6 hours a day, and certainly sleeping quite a lot as well when we get to the back end of it. We've been using Ordnance Survey mapping to try and work out where we're going. Every now and then that fails, but we've just about managed to keep on track. We've been tracking how far we've actually gone using Strava, and our Fitbits are registering something north of 40,000 steps a day. And as you can imagine, our feet are sort of aching accordingly, absolutely in line with that. So it's been a lot of fun tracking how we're doing. We're still in one piece, just about. And we're looking forward to the remaining, whatever it is, over 1,000 miles we've got to go still. So we're really looking forward to that part of it too.
Well, Andy, true to form, packed with numbers there. There's more to numbers on this journey, though. We've actually had some great fun, both on and off the walking routes. It is amazing to us, actually, having been in isolation virtually for the first part of the walk, that we stumbled into the second best Indian restaurant in Scotland, in Brora, of all places. We even had an evening at Barbara Cartland's favourite fish and chip shop, so it's been high glamour all the way. But one thing we're very keen to do on this trip is give you a flavour of what it's really all about. Now, you're probably thinking these guys are just sat in a hotel bedroom, and you're absolutely right, that's exactly where we are. Something to do with not quite getting our act together on some of the outdoor photography, but don't worry, more of that will follow. I know my son Adam last week was unimpressed by the graphics. I was desperate to have some real footage, and this is the first step on the road in that direction. So next video, lots more of the scenery around our walk, and what it's like to be actually covering the ground, whether it's in beautiful forests or beaches, or rather more congested roadways, which has been part of it. But I think it's important to say, hugely important on this journey is people. And fantastic visit of our friend Ken this week for a couple of days, who's a fantastic morale booster. We've met some fantastic people also on our travels, and we look forward to many others joining us in the coming weeks.
Well, we talked a moment ago about planning, but with the best planning in the world, you nevertheless run into quite a few difficulties. We've been traversing the extreme northeast of Scotland, and that has led to one or two what you might call operational challenges. Lack of facilities on the walk. The pubs and shops have not been open at this time of year. They only open up when the tourist season starts. And there can be quite a lack of other facilities. So, for example, Wi-Fi not working, absence of GPS, which makes the tracking part of it quite tricky. We've had to really become quite familiar with local bus services because taxi companies are fairly thin on the ground here, as you might imagine. And we have the operational challenge of moving our bags forward and getting back to the start point on some days. But we've overcome those with a great deal of assistance from local people. Night porter at one of the hotels was particularly helpful towards us with his advice. And we've also encountered some great support from people along the way. I had a fantastic encounter with a lady called Audrey, who I bumped into as we were walking along a country lane, and who promptly signed up onto the website and gave us a donation, which was absolutely fabulous, and the kind of generosity that we've seen all the way along on this trip.
So, interesting ramblings from two very tired gentlemen. We won't keep you any longer than we need to, but I thought it's worth reminding everyone why we are here, and it's for a very, very important charity. I think most people are aware of the air ambulance service. They're not quite so aware, though, of the fact that it is not funded through the NHS and is entirely dependent on charitable donations from the likes of you and me. Quite simply, if they'd not saved me 5 years ago, I wouldn't be here. So I'm eternally grateful for what they've done. And just talking to any of the staff there, you're instantly humbled by the sort of things they encounter on a day-to-day basis. So it's a fabulous cause. And certainly on reflection for what happened to me 5 years ago, no hesitation in doing this, however painful it may be short term. It's the right thing to do for a host of good reasons. For them as a service, and for, I mean, in this instance, anyone who spends any time in London. You don't have to live there. You visit there, you've got a requirement as any resident would have as well. So that's why we're doing this. Support so far has been amazing. We have over £40,000 donated already, including gift aid. We want to bump that number up as much as we can, both people who know us and people who don't. One of the reasons for doing this video work is not to win any Oscars, you'll have worked out already, but it is to actually give people a real flavour of what goes into an adventure like this. And we're not trying to dress it up in any particular way. We're trying to give you a real feel for what goes into it. And hopefully we'll be there in 12 weeks to get to the finishing line and you'll know what the whole journey's involved. Anyway, won't take any more of your time. Thank you so much for following the video. We'll put the links regarding sort of subscription to the video and to any donation for charity following this. But we'll be back in a few days' time. The next chapter of the journey is actually 2 in 1, basically. It's a combination of the West Highland Way and the Great Glen Way, and we'll be reporting back on that in a few days' time. So thanks again for listening. And we look forward to seeing you next time, and do whatever you can, please, to give to the charity. Thanks again.